Welcome to another edition of Councillor's Corner, Chilliwack City, and we have as our guest this week, Mayor Ken Popove. Good to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
What we're all about with Chilliwack Councillor's Corner is educating Chilliwack residents on what the city does. And so it's great to have you on our second episode. And how have you been?
I've been great, and I would like to start with it's Happy Pink Shirt Day. And I want everybody to be kind.
I didn't get the memo.
I'll go home and change. It's cool to be kind. So,
I'm wearing, what's this, chartreuse?
I just want to say that.
Burgundy. It's like dark pink.
And it shouldn't just be today. It should be every day.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Things are going great, though, City. Sorry I digressed there, but I just wanted to throw that in.
Well, welcome to the show. And I'm glad you did put that in. So we have a few questions. There's been some interesting things that you guys have been working on. Let's start with transportation. Our transportation infrastructure seems to be going for a big makeover in the next 12 to 18 months. We've got some widening of some major Chilliwack thoroughfares. There's Promontory Road, Prest Road, and Vetter Road.
Correct.
Can you sort of describe what's happening in these areas, or what will be happening, what the cost is and how long it's going to take, and what as residents we can expect to see?
Sure. I'm going to start with I'm sorry. There's going to be some there's going to be some detours, there's going to be some road closures, there's going to be some issues that our drivers are going to be facing because we are working on 3 major infrastructure projects, as you listed off. The total cost of the RFP was about $15 million.
Wow. And
that doesn't take into consideration the $5 million that we are going to be doing in road rehab, as we do every year. But back to the original question. Promontory Road from Vetter to Chilliwack River Road is going to be 5 lanes. That's already begun, if motorists have actually noticed that. We are waiting for BC Hydro on all our projects to move their poles on that section of road and on Prest Road. The biggest project is going to be from Watson to Keith Wilson, because we are going to be actually burying those wires, so they'll be underground.
Wow.
We got one chance to do this. It's a couple $1 million extra, but we figured it's worth doing.
No, that's
aesthetically, and through major windstorms and that sort of thing, for people losing power.
We probably save more space then too.
Well, correct. Yeah, because there's not a lot of room there.
It's tight there. Yeah. Is it 2 lanes each way then on that?
It's actually 5 lanes.
Down to the roundabout.
To the roundabout. No, we're talking Watson to Keith Wilson. Okay. Watson to Keith Wilson is going to be 5 lanes, sidewalks, bicycle paths with the wires buried at that location.
Okay, perfect.
Promontory Road, the poles are just going to be moved, as well as Prest Road. They're going to be moved over, and it's.
And what happens in a situation like that? Like, is that city land that's being? Were you doing that, or you have to expropriate, or do you buy the land from farmers there? Or
the Vetter Road chunk has been expropriated. That was about a 2-year process to get through all those, because there's a lot of pieces of property that we needed to acquire. Promontory Road, the same thing. We actually bought the chunk of property to the north side to enable us to expand that road. And in that project as well, that 90-degree corner that's at Vetter and Watson, the same lady who owned actually both chunks, we are going to be softening that corner as well.
So is that an easy process? Like, do you find any
pushback?
Easy,
but
pushback from some of the owners, or?
Some complied, and some have to go through the expropriation process.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
it was about a 50-50 mix. Yeah.
It's great in the long run. I know it's painful
absolutely.
In the short run, but in the long run, that section definitely needs it. So another perhaps even more high-profile infrastructure upgrade is the downtown upgrade, specifically 5 Corners. I understand that's due to be completed in May 2020. Is that right? I mean, that soon?
That's an exciting project that I've been involved with for probably 15 years, or actually talked about it for that length of time. Yeah, we had a short sleeve with the Alga brothers, and they're still on schedule. They're hoping for a May opening. We are doing a little bit of road work from Princess to Yale on that little stretch. We want to have that done prior to their opening. But if people are downtown and look to the right and see what's going on, the 62 unit apartment building is now 3 or 4 floors up, and it's going to continue on. No, that's an exciting project.
Is that all on budget and on time?
I can't speak into budget because we sold it to the Elgar brothers, but as far as I know, yes, it's on time.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah. All right. And you've indicated changes to the ALC are forthcoming, including loosening of residential rules. How did that come about? What does it exactly mean? What exactly is happening? And when can we expect to see changes, if you know that?
Well, the government works very slowly, which we all know. The concern
provincial
came from,
government, city
correct.
Government is
We're
lightning
right
fast.
on.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
get her done. Yeah, it came about where some homesteads that these folks wanted to rebuild, like a new house on their property, but they weren't allowed to do that, to have a secondary suite or a secondary home on their property. So this is going to allow them to build a new house, stay in the old house. As a new one is being built, it could be for personal reference or like a residence, or it could be for farm workers that actually work on the property. So it'll be a process. We did shoot some letters to the minister, and I'm sure we weren't the only community to raise the question, and they've listened. So now it's just going to be a matter of time to see what they're going to come up with, and for us to move forward.
So it'll happen in a little bit of time, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
We don't know yet.
No time frame.
Something that is just in the news now, and it was our top news story today. We thought maybe we'd get some thoughts from the city on this, which is the COVID-19 or coronavirus, as it may be more commonly known. Is the city prepared, or what is the city doing about that?
We do have an emergency plan in place for all emergencies, anywhere from earthquakes to major fires to floods and this sort of thing, and this would fit into the health side of that plan. Although for us, it's working with Fraser Health. And if they need extra space to put, if we have a major outbreak and they may need a building, we may have to take the Evergreen Hall and turn it into a triage, if you will, or we may have to shut things down. But it's all, it's a higher level.
We're not suggesting that's what's going to happen.
No, but we are prepared, and it's good to ask the question. But no, we are prepared, and it's in place.
It's interesting because we reported today that. If you try to go into any hardware store in Chilliwack, you can't get the N95 masks. They're sold out. So if you're wanting to do installation in your basement or some drywall, you can't get a mask.
Okay.
And we checked online, and through Amazon, you can buy a box of like 20 of them for $20. But they charge like $150 for shipping. So there's some price gouging going on. It's very interesting. And even hand sanitizers, I just walked into London Drugs and they didn't have any.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Well, it's the basic too. Like if you're sick, stay home. And like they've said over and over again on major networks, wash your hands. But the big thing is if you're not feeling well, stay home until you're feeling better so you're not spreading the virus. Yeah, it's a little scary in Europe, absolutely, and it is coming this way. But as far as our community here, we are prepared to work with Fraser Health and whatever other body that is going to be involved with this emergency. If it does actually happen in Chilliwack, we want to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, right on. And so I guess I just wanted to wrap up by saying we're 2 months now into 2020. For our residents, what were your top three and council's top three priorities for 2020? And I guess what I want to do is we'll see you in a couple months again, is follow up with you and see where you're at in terms of those priorities.
Well, the top priorities, and we have been working on them for quite a while. Obviously the infrastructure projects have been ongoing, and that is something that's exciting to see. What's going on downtown, to see that redevelopment and see how that's going to snowball as that whole area gets rebuilt and re-energized, if you will. And I suppose the third one for me is to continue on with the building of relationships with our Indigenous folks. We have nine bands that touch our borders, and we have worked very, very closely with them. There's some cool projects that are underway in partnership with some of the bands, and I want to continue on with that road.
Okay, well, so that the first two are infrastructure type projects.
There's probably four in there.
And then the indigenous relations.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend a lot more time on that particular topic because we didn't really touch on it this time.
Sure.
So thanks so much for coming in today, Mayor. I really appreciate your time on our second edition of Councillor's Corner, Chilliwack City.
Good.
And we'll see you next time.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.